هیوادوال مو له سرتاسري امنیت څخه برخمن او په لومړي ځل د یو مستحکم اسلامي نظام د رامنځته کولو لپاره زمینه مساعده شوه. همدغه راز هیواد مو په مختلفو ساحو کې هر اړخیز فعالیت او د خدماتو عرضه کولو ته اشد ضرورت لري ترڅو د ولس قانوني، اقتصادي او اجتماعي حقوقو ته په خپل وخت رسیدګي وشي.
We are expecting the Taliban to make that announcement on government formation in Afghanistan. All eyes on what the power structure will look like, what the members of the cabinet, who the members of the cabinet will be. As of now, as we've been telling you, the power structure has been talked about. The Taliban will be elaborating on who will be a part of the government, the various ethnic groups, their representation, whether or not we will have any women be a part of the power structure and the government in Afghanistan.
په همدې اساس د نوي اسلامي حکومت رئیس الوزراء او د هغه مرستیالان د مهمو امنیتي او خدماتي وزارتونو سرپرستان او ځینې مرستیالان او لوی رئیسان په لاندې ډول اعلانیږي. پاتې وزارتونو، ادارو او نهادونو کې به تعینات له زیات غور وروسته په تدریج سره اعلانیږي. په همدې اساس د نوي اسلامي حکومت
ministers and the officials of the
هغه مرستیالان
other departments will be. Now we can declare the name of the Prime Minister and his aide. They will be declared.
Muhtaram Al-Haj Mullah Mohammad Hassan Akhund, Sarparasti Riyasat al-Wazara. Muhtaram
Mr. Mullah Mohammad Hassan, Acting Prime Minister.
Riyasat al-Wazara. Muhtaram Maulawi Muhammad Yaqub Mujahid,
Deputy
Wazarat al-Difa.
Muhammad Mujahid.
Muhtaram Al-Haj Mullah Surajani, Sarparasti Wazarat al-Dakhila.
Mr. Siraj Hassani is Acting Interior Minister.
Muhtaram Mullah Hidayatullah Badri,
this is the Acting Foreign Minister.
Muhtaram Sheikh Maulavi Nurullah Munir
Hidayah Badri is the Internal Minister, Acting Internal Minister.
Mullah Khairullah Khairqa, Sarparasti Wazarat Itlaat wa Farhang. Muhtaram Qari Din Muhammad Hanif, Sarparasti Wazarat Iqtisad.
Munakhir Lakika is the Minister of Mines, Acting Minister of.
Muhtaram Maulavi Abdul Hakim Sharai, Sarparasti Wazarat
Mullah Muhammad Saqib is the Acting Minister of Endowment and Movement.
Sarparasti Wazarat Sarhadat wa Qabail.
Abdul Hakim Azab is Acting.
Muhtaram Mullah Muhammad Yunus Akhundzada, Sarparasti Wazarat Inkishaf Dihat. Muhtaram
Nurullah is the Minister.
Sarparasti Wazarat Dawat wa Irshad, Amr bil Ma'ruf.
Nurullah Akhundzada.
Muhtaram Mullah Abdul Manan Umari
is the Hajj and Guidance Minister.
Muhtaram Haji Mullah Muhammad Isa Akhund, Sarparasti Wazarat Ma'adin wa Petroleum.
Abdul Anan is the Development Minister.
Muhtaram
Nurullah Akhund, Minister of Petrol.
Muhtaram
Abdul Latif is the Minister of Electricity and Energy.
Muhtaram Maulavi Najibullah Haqqani, Sarparasti Wazarat Mukhabirat.
Mullah Abdul Hakami is the Higher Education Minister.
Sarparasti Wazarat Muhajirin. Muhtaram Mullah Abdul Haq Wasid, Sarparasti Riyasat Umumi Istikhbarat.
Khalil Haqqani is the Minister of Immigration and Refugees. Abdul Haq Wakil is the acting intelligence minister.
محترم ملا محمد فاضل اخوند معین وزارت دفاع.
Muhammad Jan Ahmadi is the head of the Prime Minister's office. Acting head of army Sheikh Muhammad Abdul.
محترم ذبیحالله مجاهد معین وزارت اطلاعات و فرهنگ. محترم ملا تاجمیر جواد معاون نخست ریاست عمومی استخبارات. محترم ملا رحمت الله نجیب معاون اداره ریاست عمومی استخبارات. و محترم ملا عبدالحق معین وزارت داخله در بخش مبارزه با مواد مخدر. امارت اسلامی افغانستان. څرنګه چې موږ تاسو شاهدان یو هیواد د بحراني حالت سره مخ وو.
All right, so you've just been listening there to Zabihullah Mujahid, the Taliban spokesperson. They're naming officials to the, naming new ministers that will form the Taliban government, named a number of ministries there. I understand we have some English translation back now, so we'll go back and listen in.
ریاست الوزراء دو معاونان دي. محترم ملا عبد الغني برادر اخوند د ریاست الوزراء یو معاون. محترم مولوی عبد السلام حنفی ریاست الوزراء دو معاون. نو مشرتابه و پتیاله چې د اسلامي امارت
Mulawi is the
یو سرپرسته
Vice Prime Minister and Hanafi is the second Vice Prime Minister. The rest of the ministries will be declared in future. We are trying until we get the right meritorious cadre to fill in the positions in the rest of the ministries. We will speak in future on these subjects. In due course, we will declare the other ministries. We have declared the ministries that we were in pressing need for them. And until we get into a more stable situation, we will be acting accurately and speedily to have the future administration in place, God willing. We do have clear policy. We have our policy, a clear policy, God willing, and the next, the other ministers will be declared later on. And finally, we praise God. Now I can answer questions of the brothers journalists. Are there no journalists? No press? France press?
We'd like to know there was some protests this afternoon in this morning and this afternoon in Kabul and Herat. According to some reports, there were some people, journalists, who were beaten or arrested during this protest. So we'd like to know what would you confirm on that, this arrest, and why they were arrested. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. ترجمان لري دوی؟
سلام، ایشان از EFP هستن. هم تو معرفی کردن، گفتن پیش از 6 تا بعد از 6 برخی تظاهرات ها در کابل و هرات بوده که گفته میشه بعضی از ژورنالیست‌ها و کسایی که مظاهره میکردن مورد لطکوب قرار گرفتن و بعضیشون هم بازداشت شدن. آیا شما تایید میکنید؟
Taliban did not deal with them in an appropriate manner and they beaten them up. We have to understand that these days we have come out from an emergency situation and the atmosphere is not the right one and suitable for demonstrations. Any demonstrations, with the knowledge of the Ministry of Justice and the competent authorities. So, in order to deal with the demonstrations, we have to know in advance. But unfortunately, brothers do make these demonstrations in an ad hoc manner and indiscriminate fashion, which violates the security and the public order. Therefore, they cause security issues in the capital. I do ask the demonstrators not to make any demonstration in these days, so that not to disturb the public. And Abdul Haq
ډیر مننه. زما سوال دا دی چې دغه کابینه آیا دا به د لنډمهال لپاره وي که د دایمي لپاره، او بل دا چې د امیرالمؤمنین په دغه وخت کې دغه موقف څه دی؟
یو خبره خدا چې امیرالمؤمنین به ان شاء الله د امیر په شکل باندې هغه مطرح وي او دا کابینه هغه اعلان کړه. ریاست الوزرا یا هغه موقف د صدر اعظمي لري، صدر اعظم او خپل کابینه اعلان کوي استخدام یې کار ته، او بل دا چې تر اوسه پورې دا سرپرسته ده. په دې معنی چې دا لنډمهالي وخت لپاره به رسیدګي کوي امورو ته، وروسته بیا په دې کابینه کې لا ډېر قوت راوستلی شو، لا ډېر اصلاحات راوستلی شو، لا ډېر ترمیمات.
Okay, so you've been listening there to Zabihullah Mujahid, the Taliban spokesman, addressing the media there. Earlier, he had announced the names of a number of new ministers to head up what will form the new Taliban government, something that people have been waiting for several days now. And I understand we have English translation. No, we don't. So he then took some questions from journalists and was asked about the protests that have been taking place in recent days, in which this Tuesday, in fact, Taliban fighters were seen firing shots into the air to disperse hundreds of people. We're going to go back now to the presser because we have translation, English translation.
So not permanent ones, but in future this will happen. We will, of course, in future appoint people in a fundamental and permanent fashion. Then the ministers will be acting within the law and the legal framework.
تلویزیون تمدن.
تشکر مجاهد صاحب. من محمد اسلام بینوش هستم، خبرنگار تلویزیون تمدن تیوی. کابینه سرپرستی که از طرف شما امروز با وجودی که دعاهای همه شمول صورت می‌گرفت و مطرح می‌شد، از همه بودن از او خبری نیست. از اقوام مختلفی عضویت نداره.
We thought the government would be a complete
که مطالبات جامعه اهل تشیع که تاکنون
government, but what
از مجرای شورای علمای شیعه افغانستان مطرح شده. از طالبات دیدگاه شما چی است؟
What are the parties and what are the
شما در رابطه با این مطالبات چی است؟ سوال سوم مجاهد صاحبی است که شما شاهد هستید که اعتراضات در روزهای گذشته بوده و
people that will be selected for the jobs as you
فکر می‌کنین که برخورد نظامیان معترضین
We've also witnessed demonstrations in the capital and in Haraz and other surrounding provinces. Some people feel there is interference from Pakistan in the internal affairs. Thank you. Firstly, as you said, the government we announced is an acting government. It is not the future and permanent government. Some of the ministers have not been declared yet, which we will do soon. However, the declaration of government, this declaration is not final. These are acting ministers. I don't say they're not deserving, but at this stage we are in a emergency stage, and people are talking about the Panjshir, but we tell you the Panjshir province is safe. There has been no exchanges and there has been no war in the wilaya of Panjshir. There are also people that carrying out demonstrations. We do know they don't want security and safety in the capital. We also know some people do not have enough experience to deal with demonstrators, and I would like and hope that this is left for the future so that it can be dealt with properly within a full-time government. And now we do not allow people to use the current situation in order to cause trouble. The interference of Pakistan is a rumor that it has been bandied about for 20 years. We do not allow interference. We act with complete freedom, and we were able to fight the countries of the world who were occupying our country. From the outset, we fought the whole world for the sake of Islam and this country. God forbid they want to drive a wedge between us and Pakistan. We have sacrificed and provided many sacrifices in defense of this country and the people of this country. You declare a government to the people who were waiting for this declaration of government. The fundamental issue is that some controversy in the media saying that if some of those people are known faces and familiar faces who are in the government, then it would be a government that is shared by everybody. Other than that, the government will not be sharing the power. Look, we need to be able to defend our country. And we have been fighting in Kandahar, and we are not a tribal force, and we're not from one tribe, for example. We do have people from all different ethnicities and from different backgrounds, so we are diverse. Praise be to God. And we are proud that we have joined by everybody, yes, not from the Pashtun, but some of the people you mentioned were talking about different issues for 20 years and talking about personal interests. We do not allow people to speak on behalf of, turn it into a tribal thing. We wanted a comprehensive and fully functioning government. For example, everybody is a representative of this country, and thank God we don't have any problem with the Panjshir Wilaya. We do have a lot of resources, but generally speaking, the Panjshirs are said to be the poor ones. However, some people live in caves and others have been participating in previous government who had great wealth. So where were you from these people?
Kabul News.
سلام مجاهد صاحب وخت مو بخیر مجاهد صاحب لکه څنګه چې تاسو خبر یاستئ نن
Peace be upon you, Mr. Mujahid. You do know that in many wilayas that there are demonstrations, and the way Taliban is dealing with the demonstrators is harsh, and they have been beating us up and breaking our tools and equipment. If they continue dealing with the demonstrators in this fashion, so what would be the result in the future? Today we heard that some people came to Mazar Sharif, as you said in the beginning, that these days you do not allow demonstrators from Pashtun because these people do not need security and stability in the country. We don't want war in Panjshir. So we say any exchanges or battles in Afghanistan, I tell them, those from Panjshir, bring back the weapons you took, because this is from the Bayt al-Mal that belongs to the state. Those civilian people have to make sure that we are in a situation that is very critical, and we hope that the press raise their voice, but in a proper manner, So some of our people do not have enough experience to be able to deal properly with the demonstrators. And as I have said, and I say again, this period of time, we cannot allow demonstrations.
Assalamu alaikum. زه شفیق احمد ما نادولو ایجنسینا زما سوال دا دی تاسو څه هیله لرئ چې
I am Shafiq Ahmed from Anadolu.
په دنیا کې تاسو به تسلیم کړئ.
My question is how
تاسو څه هیله لرئ چې اسلامي کومه نړۍ دا د اسلامي
how do you think how many countries of the world will support and recognize you? For example, do all Islamic countries recognize your legitimacy? Firstly, there are international relations, we want good relations with all countries of the world. Americans were engaged in the war and they occupied our country. However, we still want bilateral relationships with the government, and we declare to all the world that we do not allow any country to interfere in our affairs. In this country, we do our work and we are responsible, and we do not wish any interference in our work and interference in our government. And we do not allow and do not accept that either. We do not interfere in any other country's affairs, and we do not allow and accept anyone to interfere in our affairs now or in the future. And we hope that all countries of the world to recognize the legitimacy of our country and the legitimacy of our Islamic regime, and nobody would be able to allow to abuse our country. Thank you, Mr. Mujahid. The ministers of the forthcoming ministers, this situation, as I mentioned, our relationship is good with all countries of the world. We have good relationships and positive relationships. Now we have been preoccupied with the Panjshir problem because they came to Kabul and came to Afghanistan, and we hope that countries of the world begin to have good relationship with the Islamic State of Afghanistan. Thank you, Mr. Mujahid.
د نوی حکومت په تړاو راتوي چې کله به دقیق نیټه راتوي چې حکومت ورته اعلانېږي او څومره هیوادونو به راځي په دغه مراسمو کې ګډون کوي او بله خبره دا چې تاسو د
announce the government, but when are you going to announce the forthcoming government, and how and why did you stop flights to other countries in Afghanistan? Because the persons who want to leave Afghanistan Diplomatic or other personnel must have the right documents in order, and they have to go through the exit gate and the entry gate. As we have announced through the ministries that we will be dealing with the problems of flights as of tomorrow.